Hello everyone. So, today we're going to talk a bit about parallelograms. Specifically, we're going to talk about the properties that parallelograms have and how to use them. So, there are there's probably more, but in this class, there's 5 interesting properties of parallelograms. The first being that, probably the most obvious property is that the opposite sides are parallel. So, like AD is parallel to BC, AB is parallel to DC. Well, I mean it's right in the name. Parallelogram. So probably the most obvious one, but interesting nonetheless. The second cool property is not only are opposite sides parallel, but opposite sides are also congruent. So AD is congruent to BC, AB is congruent to DC. Interesting. In addition to that, angles, we're going to talk about opposite angles are congruent. So that would be like angle D and angle B. They'd be congruent to each other, have the same exact measure. And angle A and angle C would have the same measure. Very cool. 4 is kind of like, I'll just say it. We would say consecutive angles are supplementary. So, what it means by consecutive angles are basically like a pair of angles that are not opposite to each other. Like B and C would be consecutive, or A and B would also be consecutive. But, the facts that it's saying, in 4 are like that angle A plus angle B equals 180, and angle B plus angle C is 180. So in a parallelogram, if the angles are not the same, they're supplementary to each other. Very cool. The fifth property is that this one's probably the least obvious one, I guess. The diagonals bisect each other. Okay, so what does that mean? Let me clear up this picture. If I were to draw the diagonals, so a diagonal would be from like D to B and A to C. Let's say they meet in the kind of in the middle, at point M. If the diagonals bisect each other, then DM is congruent to MB, and AM is congruent to MC. So they bisect each other. It means the diagonals cross each other at their midpoints. So, here's just a nice visual representation of what's going on, like if we have any parallelogram, we can just establish all these congruences. On the left-hand side, these are demonstrating the congruent sides. And on the right-hand side, we got the angles and their relationships, So, basically, we established these nifty facts. Now, let's see how we can properly use them. So, alright, each shape is going to be a parallelogram. Find the missing measures. So I honestly just like to go crazy and like just like not even look at the answers I'm trying to find, just fill everything out that I can find. Like opposite sides are congruent, so this is 8 and this is 15. Opposite angles are congruent, so B must be 68 as well. Consecutive angles are supplementary. So for example, the measure of angle A plus the measure of angle D is equal to 180. But we know angle D is 68 degrees. So if I subtract 68 degrees on both sides, measure of angle A is going to be equal to 112. So that's cool. 112, and angle C would be congruent to A. And I mean, I think that's all we really need to find. Yeah, AD we found is 8. DC is 15. Angle A is 112. Angle B is 68 degrees. And angle C is 112 degrees. So that's just a quick example of how to use these properties. Let's go over maybe one more, I guess, for now. Again, let's just find the quickest thing. So opposite sides are the same. KL must be 29 and JK is 21. Opposite angles are the same. So angle J is 127. Consecutive angles are supplementary. So I'm just going to do 180 minus 127 to find that supplementary value, which in this case would be 53 degrees. So the other two angles are 53 degrees. And that's probably it. JK we discovered is 21. KL is 29. Angle J is 127. Angle K is 53 degrees. And angle M is also 53 degrees. So that's it. These are some of the more simple problems. In the next video, we will talk about some of the other types of problems we might encounter, and we will see that they're really not so crazy.